Have you ever looked at your painting and felt, oh no, the drawing is all messed up? Well, I've been there too. And today, I'm sharing some easy tricks that will instantly take your drawings from bad to wow. Hi, I'm Dr. Shazia, your art buddy. And if you love secret art tips, fun painting demos, and brutally honest art supply reviews, then welcome to Conversations with Canvas, your space for all that art musty. I had painted these dies a few months back and it was a total nightmare because the drawing was off in the first place and correcting it was a pain. Now you can watch all that drama in this video that I'll be sharing. The link will be in the description. Now this made me realize that bad perspective can really mess up your art even if your brushwork is brilliant. So if the drawing is not right, it's just not right. But honestly, I don't see myself using rulers, to draw out all the lines and make everything very perfect geometrically because I like to paint loose. So now I came up with a jugaad that can really help me sketch everything better and really be perspectively right. Now this could be a still life, landscape and even portraits. Before we get into the perspective tricks, I'll be sharing a few boring geometrical diagrams. Yes, you heard me right. I find it really boring. But we're not going to be learning how to draw these today. I've saved you the trouble and I'm going to be sharing a downloadable PDF in the description. You can download it and print it and keep it for your reference. Today we're not going to be learning how to draw this. Today we're going to be learning how to apply this easily without using rulers in your works. So let's get into the video today. The first point is a 1-point perspective. Now before I go into talking about the perspective points, we need to know two basic words: horizon line and vanishing points. Now they might be sounding really big and very scientific, but there's nothing too much. Horizon line is basically your eye level and the vanishing points are just points where all the lines in your drawings are going to be meeting. Now perspective could be 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, all depending on the number of vanishing points. So like here we have a single vanishing point, so this is a 1-point perspective. If the object is placed at the eye level, you have this converging towards that one single vanishing point. If the object was below the eye level, again you have it converging towards that single vanishing point. So let's look into some practical examples where we can see this 1-point perspective. Now if we look at this simple landscape, all lines are converging to one single vanishing point. As we can see, I've drawn the lines and you can see all are meeting at 1 point. In the second example also, all the lines are meeting at one single point. The base of the trees, the top of the trees, all are meeting at 1 point, which is a single vanishing point. Moving on to a 2-point perspective. Now 2-point perspective, everything is not going to be always facing you frontwards. Mostly they're going to be placed sideways or something like that. So here we have two vanishing points. The object is facing us on the corner or the sideways. So you have two surfaces which are visible. Now how to plan this out? You have them converging towards their respective vanishing points. Okay, now this is on the horizon line or at the eye level. It could be above your eye level or it could be below your eye level. Now again, here you have to just remember that everything just meets at these vanishing points, and that is what is more important to remember. This could be a building, it could be just a box. Now again, let's look into certain examples where we can see these 2-point perspectives. The best example is this carton box. The lines are converging outside the diagram, so you cannot see them clearly. In this building also you can see all the lines are going to be converging at 2 points on the opposite sides. This is a great example to understand the two vanishing points. This building is also really great to understand the two vanishing points. They all are converging or meeting at the two vanishing points on the opposite sides. Even for this face, you can see that the lines are vanishing at two opposite points. Now after the 2-point perspective, let's move on to something which is known as a 3-point perspective. Basically just having 3 vanishing points. Now this could be, a building. Again, it could be a table or a stool which you're drawing. Here again you have 1, 2 and 3 vanishing points. This is for this object. For this object you have again 3 vanishing points, 1, 2 and 3. Whereas again for this object you have 3 vanishing points, 1, 2 and 3. Now let's look into some practical examples. Now this chair is a great example to understand the 3-point perspective. It's so complex to draw, but if you have these 3 vanishing points, it becomes so easy to draw. Similarly for the Eiffel Tower, you need to know where your vanishing points are, and it becomes very easy to draw this Eiffel Tower too. Before we move on to circular objects, let's see how we can apply this 1-point, 2-point and 3-point perspective in a practical way where we can make these drawings without using any rulers and basically just apply the concept of these perspective and vanishing points. Now, whether it's a building or a box, you have to first see in your reference whether you can see the top or not. So if you can't see a top, like suppose it's a building, so how do you draw it? Like we're going to be going ahead with a 2-point perspective. Now this is the building. Okay, now we know that they are going to be meeting at one point over here and another point over here. Now you don't need to draw any point, but you need to just know that these lines are going to be converging, not too much. And you could have a straight line here coming down, and then you could have this two converging in this direction, and you have this. So you could have same thing following, okay, these windows following this same pattern, and you could have a door over here which is again following that same thing. Here again, you know, just going ahead, these are going to be straight lines. The verticals are going to be straight unless it's a curved, you know, or it's a slanting like an Eiffel Tower or something like that. Again we follow this baseline. Just draw those lines, follow this parallel to this line, again parallel to this line, and there you have your building, right? It could be a box. Now suppose this is not at eye level and this you can see from the top, then again when you can see it from the top, so you have, again you can just draw your, I'm drawing with a pen so that you can see it, that you don't need too much of stuff. There could be some mistakes, but if you're using a pencil, it becomes so much easier to correct. So now we have this line and this line, okay? Now this has to go slightly on the top because we want okay. Now this is going to converge, so it's going to be slightly like this, and this is going to converge. So that's it. So this is how simple it becomes once you understand what the point perspectives are and where the vanishing points are going to be. So it becomes easy to draw without any ruler. So let's move on now to basically going into the circular perspective. Now you can see how a circle looks like when you see it from the top. This is how a circle looks like, and it fits pretty snugly into a square. Now using that concept, you know, we can use the single point perspective of drawing this square, and automatically we see that this circle has now flattened into an ellipse. Now depending on your eye level, this circle becomes more like a circle if it's really below your eye level. As it closes towards the eye level, or it's closer towards the eye level, it becomes an ellipse and flattens down reasonably. So now it's time now, you know, how to apply this basically into a drawing without going into the complex drawings with a scale or with a compass. Let's just do it an easy way out. So suppose we have a cup or a bottle. Let's go with a bottle. So this is going to be the base, just a basic thing. We have these straight lines. Now this is really curved at the base. This is the base. Usually glass has a thick base, so we have that. But as it comes towards the eye level, the curvature has reduced quite a lot. Now, suppose we have again this, and this is the top. Now, if this is beyond the eye level, so we are going to be drawing this curve. And here you have a bottle without actually working too hard into understanding the complex things. Now, suppose you can see the liquid inside. So again, this is going to be slightly more curved, and this is again going to be curved, and you have the fluid inside. Now, what is the main thing that you have to remember when you're drawing this? It has to be rounded. It need not be perfect, but it has to be rounded instead of this. The moment you create these corners, you mess it up. Don't create corners. Let it be rounded, and even if it's not perfect, it works. Now that I've shared all the perspective tricks, I'm moving on to painting letter P for my still life paint challenge, and this printing ink having all the three perspectives and the circular perspective is a great choice. This ink bottle has been placed below the eye level because I can see the top of the cap. Also, the shape is quite complex because it has a rectangular base and a circular cap. So we're going to be using the 3-point perspective over here. Also, we're going to be using the circular perspective while drawing the ink bottle as well as its cap. To get better at drawing your perspective right, all you need to do is practice. Pick up an object daily and just draw it. You could use a cup of coffee, you could use a bottle of water, you could use a pen stand. Anything that's in front of you has to be drawn. Try to finish it off as fast as you can without using any rulers. All you have to do is observe and sketch it out. And that way you're going to be getting better at your perspective. And that wraps up our easy perspective tips and tricks without any geometrical drama. Do try them out and you'll see the difference in your new sketches. Next up is going to be letter Q for the Still Life Paint Challenge. And I seriously don't know what I'm going to be painting for that. Let's see, I hope I come up with something by the next week. And until next time, take care, keep creating, and I'll see you soon for more art magic on Conversations with Canvas. Bye.